Well, hey, how y'all doing out there? Man, I hope everybody's reached this hump day humping. For the man, I hope y'all made him extra rich so maybe they can actually just go create make their own Cabbage Patch Kids and leave ours alone. So y'all gonna make the man rich? Hump it. You hump that shit. You boys and girls fixing to go over there, you can buck on them moral orders. And when they said that y'all was going over there to bring Jesus back through Trump, that's an immoral order. Sorry, but not fucking sorry. I've seen some bullshit in my fucking life, but the last fucking year has taken the dark days of the Rona lie, which we're still living in, and made that shit look like, like we lived through that. It's like that wasn't jack shit compared to this fucking shit. And y'all know, 1,186 days ago, my son said, "Hey, Candace, how you doing, honey?" And I automatically assumed, man, because I was looking for a reason. I was looking for somebody to put this on, man, because this was the most unfair thing I've ever seen. There had to be fucking retribution, and it wasn't the most unfair thing I've ever seen because it was just my daughter. It was me and my daughter, and that was like beyond. I don't even talk about it no more. It's mine, but I'll let everybody else talk about it because everybody that was in our closest circle, which we both had basically the same circle, and really had the same issues. I just wasn't gonna let her go suffer for fucking 50 years before she figured it out, before she had to go walk the Appalachian Trail or go away from everybody and everything that you know, just to make sure that you're fucking real, that you're not just clinging on to this spinning ball or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but you're just not clinging on metaphorically. We come out of my I living with my grandma. And mom got her, she went and got her bachelor's and her master's in education back to back, so she could, and within 6 or 7 years, get all this done and be having a good salary. Which Burger King really appreciated that. And Captain D. But anyway, they we lived in a place called Hunter Haven Apartments, and there was some typical boxed up apartments they built back in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and several hundred people live on an acre. That's about as fun as goddamn whatever. But anyway, and hey Sherry, how you doing, honey? You could hear everybody in them, basically, 4 units in per big building. And one day my mom was bad about it. Man, my mama cussed like a sailor, was married to a Green Beret. Her father was a fucking World War II sailor. So she didn't give a fuck, and raised up over there in Auburn, Alabama, And so we had a note on the door, and it was a postcard of a kitten, and the kitten was holding on to a rope, and on the rope there was a knot. And it said, hey, honey, tie a knot and hang on. Well, I couldn't do that. What happened will happen. I couldn't, and I couldn't read the fucking autopsy. I dropped it on the floor by accident in the camper when I was over there at the barn. I couldn't pick, it was like 30-something days, like 33, 34 days, I think 34 days before I picked that thing, I could pick it up. The energy from it alone, man. Sadness done went this morning, so I don't really not gonna try to get sad about this. I got a very valid point in it. I don't know why I see what I see in people, and it's like I see in every little fucking jar with a chip on it, or just an old rock or something like this. You got just an old fucking piece of rock. Look at it, I ain't cleaned it up. Like old piece of rock, man. But you know what? You put a little light up under that motherfucker. And wow, it ain't no little fucking rock, is it? It ain't no dirty rock. I mean, I still see the dirt and all, but wow, ain't that some clear, pretty fucking shit, man. I could just walk all night with that in this flashlight in the woods, and I would care if I walked into sticks and bumped me in the eye. There's a magic that we all have, y'all. And it's called love. And this thing is fucking horrible, man. It's the most scary fucking thing in the world. For a man like me. And you know, you give it out when you're a little kid. And you get it back or you don't. And it ain't no big deal because we grow the fuck up. And I believe in that. I know people out here been healing for 55, 60 fucking years. I'm like, when you get healed up now, we'll be right here waiting for you. And we got a place right here in the trench for you. Brand new fucking rifle, all the rounds you can shoot. And I hope you can shoot a bunch since you're healed up, you know, and all that time. And I get that too, by the way. And that's the other thing too. I was raised by very abused women. I had 7 brother-in-laws. How about that? There you go. My mom was like divorced, and it wasn't cool to be divorced in 1967, you know, and especially married to a Green Beret and living in a military town like Columbus, you know, right by Fort Benning. And right, you know, and it was what it was. That was also the beginning of the destruction of the family unit. And they started with black people, and they used the Civil Rights Act. And a lot of people say, well, you know, why you shouldn't say that. Trump just got rid of. Well, you know, it was rewritten by, it wasn't the Kennedy brothers Civil Rights Act, by the way. It was Lyndon B. Johnson, who was a piece of fucking shit racist, like your true white Christian nationalist. These cocksuckers have been around, y'all. They had them in Epstein. They just didn't talk about it. All this shit came out now because they wanted this fucking internet. You had a few rich people. They can't hide all this shit. The Deagle, they can't hide all their reports. And then if it looks hackable or somebody thinks they can hack it, somebody go get it. Because it's just all... So everything's out here now and y'all are seeing it. But the things that they can't write about, the things that they can't make a reel about, or even a good long YouTube video where all the truth is. You can't explain love. That shit can be vicious and hungry. It can be loud. It can be quiet and meek. They can just want to just see somebody just walk across the room. That's all they fucking want. They ain't need that now. If you just tell me, like, wow, I love you, and let me just watch you walk across the room. And I was like with my relationships. And I had 3 serious relationships, so. And some people say, well, that's a bunch. You're a whore dog. Well, yeah, wow, man. Go tell my buddies like Todd Church that you don't get no playbill. That's why you're taking up for the women. Yeah, it's because I know y'all. I've been beat by y'all, and I fucking forgave y'all. And it wasn't y'all, because everybody goes to hate on everything when somebody does something. Unless it's Trump. He got to do something. You can't get the Magik to hate on him for nothing, can you? But on a serious note, I don't hate all women for what happened to me. I don't hate all black people for what the young black man did to my sisters. Candace, we talked about this, and I know there's different levels of this. But what I couldn't put to bed were actually 3 things that I have not been able to put to bed in my life. And this last one, was the one in the middle, Jessica. I have 1,186 days. I've had a 28,464 hour-long hump day. Most people's is 24. Mine's been 28,464, which 464 is my number, and 2 and 8 make 10, and there is no 0, so 10 is always 1, and I like that. I like that. That's not the hive mind. That's the tribal mind. And they try to demonize tribalism, and they listen. So they said, well, tribes fight each other. That's why we got war. They fight each other because that's what they're indoctrinated into doing over time. When rich people get bored, and this Professor Gene is what his name is, but I can't, whatever. He's brilliant. That man's brilliant. And I would have loved to sit in any of his during his tenure, or even if he's still teaching, I'd love to go hear him. Yeah, he says these rich people do this stuff because it's taboo. They have to get you to worship Baal, Baal. Which reminds me, by the way, I tell y'all, Candace reminded me, I got something to say at the end. It's about Miss Pat Bunton. And me and her doing a radio show here probably in a couple weeks. But anyway, these things need to be talked about right here. That other people greatly, and I love the fact that people don't have a lot of experience. And just sometimes complete loss. When when people talk about healing from emotional things, grief, sadness, bad relationship, whatever, you know, you got to get to the point in this healing where you realize you're healed. You're just that. Now you limp because you got part of your leg blown off in the war. You lost 3 toes at work, so you fall down a lot. But luckily you hike a lot, so nobody sees you do it. So just something's not going to ever be the same again. You see. And then you think, okay, well, if it ain't going to be the same, but I had plans. I made fucking plans. These were plans beyond me, beyond her, beyond the other people in my life. That I don't like the way they fucking went home. And I'm going, hey, Heather, how you doing, honey? And I'm going to say something right here and go ahead and get it off my chest. I still believe with all my heart that because that AT&T tower being cut on, or her being home that day after, and I'd been on 3 days, and she hadn't been there for a couple of days. But apparently one of these motherfuckers she was trying to help over there, that her mom, will live right down the street. And I'm not bashing her nothing, but while you're sitting there with damn near $1 million, you just got cash, and you want people to come stay at your place, but you don't like them or like their habits, so you send them down the road to your daughter. Wow, man. But anyway, couldn't find out. He did give her something. But he had made it look like a volume. All right, so, and he wanted to use her car all day, because he's one of them kind of motherfuckers. In and out of jail all the time, but come from one of the Columbus blue blood families. And, but this piece of shit, when the other guy that was supposed to be her best fucking friend, I found out he stole a pistol, the first one that she got, and took a picture of her while she was, on the emergency room table. I think that, and I told him, I said, when you get out of jail after them 5 years, you're going to have to come up here. And I said, I'm not coming back to Columbus. But if you ever want to get any honor or honor any of that shit, because she thought you was the fucking, her best fucking friend in the whole fucking world. Oh, you did a lot of listening, didn't you? You did a lot of mooching over there. So I taught her charity, and her mom taught it to a certain degree. But wow, man, you just don't send people that make fake pills out of what they call GHB or whatever. So he just wanted the car all morning or something. So he gave her something but that was not in the amount. It took me fucking 3 years to read the fucking. Matter of fact, it took 997 days to read the fucking autopsy, and 9 grams of fucking psilocybin mushrooms, and 5 grams right off the bat. And as soon as I started tripping, because I know where I tripped. I've done it a couple of times, and this had to go, And I had these things, man, they're water stained. And I actually, with the help of the mother and the realization that I was coming out of a fucking death, not like the Lazarus thing, because ain't nobody resurrected me but me. And sometimes you got to give the credit to yourself. If you put yourself around people like y'all, and and like I'm seeing Heather and Courtney's name right there, and I just tell you something right now, anybody's name it don't matter. Nobody comes over here that wants to fucking be a deal with, unless like wow, man, they're like Gary or somebody over there in England, it's 5 o'clock in the morning and he's been drinking that fucking whatever they drink over there, grog or whatever the fuck they call that shit. He's all hating on the Jews and Hitler's a great guy, or something. But you still love him, see? I love every one of y'all, and there's been people that I've done just like y'all. They reached points to where they either were fooling you, or they wasn't being straight up about. Talking on the phone or talking on messages and stuff like that. And then you get the ones like that, and I really do hate it for Karen, but you get ones like the Skankenstein, man, and they just, pick a new YouTube creator this week, Yeah, drive, all the way somewhere, have all your clothes in the fucking car because you're driving from state to state. Yeah, that's why she got that, and that was that was hard for me to give her that title. Y'all think I'm fucking around when I say this too. She was actually a very good, clean woman. She looked like somebody, she's starting to look like somebody's grandma. But when you find out with somebody, there's 3 of them in there, and one of them ain't no good, and you better hope that's the one that loves you. or wants you, or whatever, but there you go. I always heard, women would need to be wanted, and men need to be loved, and I believe that. 'Cause I think all that, you know, is a balance and all that, and just like it is with your youngins. Each one of mine's individual. My boy's mama, we talk here and there, and she's telling me about some things with my younger son and my middle son, and you know, I said I can understand what she's saying and everything. You know, it's just, you know, he thinks Jessica's my favorite. Well, she's not. William was my favorite. And she said, what? William's your favorite? How can you say that? You know, that would hurt Ryan. And I said, yeah, but Ryan's my favorite. And she said, well, I just thought you said. I said, Jessica's gone home. Like Jessica's legendary status now. Well, we don't talk about that unless we got something to fucking say. And that's something else I've apologized about, and I didn't. Hey, Lon, how you doing? Lon, you'll probably understand why I'm getting into saying all this right now, you know. Those things take time, man. When you walk in a ghost walk, like the song from Lamb of God, ghost walking in the aftermath of tragedy, senseless fucking, stupid fucking death. A fucking shot. A fucking something looked like a bang, but the motherfucker was just, he made a bunch of other people sick, you know. He's just a shyster like that. I can't stand a motherfucker who uses drugs to get their way on any kind of thing. There wouldn't be so many Skankensteins out there. Anyway, that cocaine's a hell of a drug, ladies. Stay away from it, by the way. And, what I'm getting at, man, is I could carry on right now. I do live. I can sit here and laugh. And then the sadness will come whenever it fucking wants. I haven't at one time tried to kick it out. I give it its time. I stare at it. I see the face of my mom. I see the face of John Gwen. I see the face of my sister Lynn. I see the face of Magda. I see the face of my granny. Now, everybody I mentioned, and my daughter, everybody I mentioned, they had one thing in common, didn't they? Except for John and Paul Anderson, and that's the fact that they was women. You see? I know I found out early on. There's only two things you can be with a woman. You can be happy, or you can be right. In other words, I like the traditional roles. I like to give and take. I like to bring home the bacon. And if Mama wants to go get some eggs to go with it, then fine. We have bacon and eggs. But I like to see them cook it up. I like to be treated, well, not like I'm special or nothing, but like keeping the machine running, you know. And your man goes in, he's like a perfect attendant corporate bootlicker. And, you know, you tend to like them kind, because at least you know where he is for 10 hours and 12 hours a day. Ain't screwing around, but he's licking the boss man's ass. Hey, boss man, let's get him overtime, boss man. But that's love, too. And when you're not feeling the love, you don't feel appreciated, and you need some attention, and nothing works, and so you go and cheat on your partner. And say, I cheated on, I love you, I was trying to get some attention. When you come from a family that demanded fucking loyalty as they fucking beat your fucking ass for just you're having your dad's name. I'm not like Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah, if I was, I wouldn't fucking admit it. But I tell you what, I can talk to a sister a lot easier than I can talk to any of my brothers out there. And there's places where I can talk to both of y'all identical. But I ain't got no panties on up underneath my jeans I've been wearing for the last fucking 3 or 4 weeks. I don't feel like being a girl. I still, so that's why I said I like the old 60s, 70s traditional roles. Accountability, the leadership of the home, where the home went, how everything went. It wasn't just on the man, and it wasn't because there was a good fucking woman behind him. It's because there was family bonds in there, you see. They just started destroying the family unit on the day I was born. 1964. On the year I was born. On the day I was born, 4 years later, they murdered Dr. King, who I wound that, somehow that stuck with me. And the red Kool-Aid in them little jelly jar glasses that, you get the jelly in, it would be a glass, Birthday party, hell of a fucking birthday party. Everybody in the fucking house where they were, you know, on my aunts, you know, as just family used to get together for the kids back then, actually, all the time. And nobody had no fucking, hey, Sarah, and a grand rising to you, too. But the red Kool-Aid in the glass, man, and they were talking about Dr. King being, you know, assassinated. And I just, if something that stuck with me at 4 years old, which I was in another world anyway, so. I mean, but the things that were instilled into me, let's just put it that way, it was about loving people for who they are and your family no matter what. But that's the only choice in my life that was mine to make, was who I chose to be my friends, who I let into my heart. And I tried that selective shit. And you know what that causes? It causes left-right divides. It causes Christian-Muslim divides. It causes blah, 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 divide. The one thing Jessica and I had that I'll never get with anybody else, because nobody can fucking, she was worse than a Magonite, man, for Trump. You know, I mean, like, she's getting my ass later on, but if it was in front of other people, as my dad, that was it. Shut the fuck up. That's my baby girl. I don't give a fuck. You know, I used to say, I mean, and I don't want to really say it right now. I just say, you know, if she's 18 years, or, you know, she's such and such years old, she made it through high school and graduated, and led her team to second place in the Georgia finals for softball, and you know, the softball World Series, and I'm like, wow. So, you know, here she is. Here, she was 27 when she went home, so I'm not going to sit there and say she didn't get a good chunk of life, and she got the best part of it. But that being torn between, and this is why you don't fuck around, man. This is why you don't fuck around, because people like me, fathers like me, I'll sit back and let you, you know, I mean, what are you going to do? If you demand something, they either got money to do the lawyer thing or to fuck with you somehow. And if it's just a mom thing, they can just say, oh, well, you know, he got a girlfriend in his trailer. I'll go here and live in this one on the other side of Alabama. And, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, shit. And what do you do? What do you do? Well, men like me, we attract you crazy motherfuckers. And we ain't never been sexually abused, but man, we got them being beat the fuck up by y'all. But the thing is, there needs to be an understanding, and the same with us, that we, you know, I mean, I've never sat there and bitched and moaned about nothing to my women. I wanted to look strong, I wanted to look good, and I wanted to pull off the side of the road all the time, and you can ask every one of them, well, all three of them, you know, I didn't give a fuck. I mean, it was like, that was a whole different world then. And how does it go apart? Well, I got this thing where I got to go to the woods, you know. I don't like living in a house. I feel hemmed up in there. Jessica felt that way too, but it was only because she had, you know, like she did sometimes up to 6 or 7 months with me during the year. And her mom was real cool about that, but so that was so she could go, you know, be the skankosaurus whenever she wanted. So she got her summers. And I wish it was cool, man. That's her, you know, her business. That was the way Laura lived before Jessica and what she lives now. So she's consistent, you know, like my mom would say. But she didn't want to be over there all the time, and she was supposed to come. Well, it don't matter. There's a lot of stories that sound like I'm bashing somebody. I don't want to do that, because I know wow, anybody that knew her, you know. And that was a comforting part of it. If sleeping on a fucking concrete bench in the drunk tank, waiting to go to court the next morning, you know, it was comfortable, but you know, everybody loved her. I mean, nobody was around her that didn't. And Lana right there, I ought to pick her song. Her daughter sung a song. I tell you what, I listened to that song. I not only understood it, and I'm not necessarily to the country rock side, so to speak, or the southern rock side all the time. I mean, I'm born in Duval County, so was Leonard Skinner. Ooh, wow, man, where we go to Ohio? Well, they got all the tribute bands for Leonard Skinner, because they can't be Leonard Skinner. It's like, take them rebel flags down. What's wrong with you? But hey, Nina, how you doing, honey? And, but you know, you got somebody that's born early. All the things that happen in your life and happen in their life, and happens to be the epitome of a daddy's grown and a father that, I mean, she never did anything for me to ever say I was the first one she told when she was pregnant. And she was in her mid-20s. So yeah, I mean, I didn't really, I was like, wow, hell yeah. And I was like, hey, what you gonna do now? You know, I mean, I'm just saying, you got life in you, you know, that's fucking cool as hell, man. That's, you know, that's part of your purpose, you gotta do that. Cause I'm gonna show you this, cause this was supposed to be shown as a, well, most of the healing, especially with the Native Americans, is done by the ladies, you know. Now, some of them might not be ladies, so we just call them females. Yeah, not me. But, you know, one of the promises I made to Magda that I would pass it down to my daughter, and hopefully she'll have a daughter. And wow, you know, I did, and she did. And so I was looking to pass something down, and I told y'all this before. I had notebooks, a couple computers just for the hard drives. I don't know how many fucking phones. All this information and stuff. You know, a lifetime of stuff, and then just getting here in like one of the most medicinal places, which is the Western Appalachians, all the way down the foothills. I'd almost say almost all the way to the Mississippi, if you're looking at the West Virginia Harper's Ferry down to say, man, the Toccoa, Georgia area, somewhere around there, you know. And not all the way down to Columbus. That's where all the shit flows to. But anyway, and you can't beat it. So on, I think it was around February or March, I think. I got to go back and look at it. I did the initial setup for Forge.com. I talked to the one guy on the phone, but I was supposed to talk to two of them, and they used to do that. Now they just do this pay thing. And but my original account, so I want to try to see if I can just not worry about the 120 a year. I should be on the original thing, but I am listed as a buyer on there. I've done this for Mountain Rose Herbs and Forge and Frontier. And they pay pretty good, man. But, you know, when you're getting half of what something's worth only because you're supplying like 100 pounds of it or 50 pounds of it, and then you try to hire somebody just to do that, how much simpler can it be to get up in the morning and get 1 hour picking dandelions, and 1 hour for the sun really gets near setting down, because they close up at night. But we can pick them at night. No, they close up at night. You can't even tell. You won't even see them no more. What the fuck's wrong with you? So people don't listen to shit. They want to do things their way. And that's just watching that. So you wind up doing it all. So you start breaking down. I was waiting for her to go through a stage with this house deal, because she got one of her granddaddy's house. Like I said, these people got money, and that's fine. You know, they earned it. Her mama earned it. She was a computer cryptic for Fort Benning, Georgia. You know, she did all, man, she was in deep, man, had great conversations as she was dying from fucking melanoma cancer, which was ugly as fuck. And Jessica never got to know her, but she called her Big Mom, and she always looked at cardinals and thought, and you know, and thought they was Big Mama. You know, she talked to her like she knew her. I mean, wow, the connection was weird. And she stayed in that house, and there was very strong presence, because her grandmama passed away right there in the den where she had LDs and little tent thing that she played in, you know, when she got her worked Urban back to health. And anyway, so she was going to come up for Christmas on the 2022, and we were going to discuss the layout for the next 3 months. And we had already really had it worked out, man. I just ain't seen her since 2019. But I went and got on the trail, and then I came right, and I got stuck here. Well, I stayed here in Kentucky, and they've all had opportunities to come up. And you know, I was supposed to get Urban back up. They put him down in Columbus. They just thought I was going off on the trail or something. I said, no, I'm going to Kentucky. I'm already off the trail. I'm in Kentucky. Just watch him for 2 or 3 weeks till I get settled. Everything's tall grass around here, a bunch of copperheads and shit. He's 100,000 years old, you know. He's got an autographed edition of the Bible he got from Noah, man, when he got off the ark, you know. And Irvin was old, but he was kicking. But they put his ass down, man. I felt guilty. Now, that's one I felt guilty about. When it comes to dogs, I only got 2 I feel bad about. I mean, like guilty about that. I didn't make a good, I wasn't there. I should have been there at the end, but I didn't make a good decision with Trigger. And, but I didn't do anything that nobody else would do. But then again, I get my goddamn flashlight and my rock, and I see things. I mean, I couldn't, in my mind could not let Trigger die. When that lady, 5 minutes before she texted me, that trigger was right there. Yeah, he came and said goodbye. Well, he didn't come and say goodbye. He just took off. Like he was running for deer, and ain't nobody gonna call him back. No getting on the lead for that. No bad trigger. Which he already ever got said. I had to get on to him. Trigger was a fucking angel, and he was there. You know, after we made these plans. It's all coming up to it. I get the typical call on December 7th. Hey, Dad, it's my birthday. How you send me some money? I'm like, oh, yeah, did your mom give you some of that $990,000, you know? But, I always give her like $50 for her birthday and whatever. Buy some ammo for her gun. She like to shoot and all that. Man, everybody would say what they want about her. She could break down an AR-15 except for the hard part, hard pull parts, and she can still take the tool for it if you got, because them tools are... Yeah, I really need one, but you use a fingernail. But at 8 years old, man, break down the AR, clean it, and shoot that motherfucker. Mine. Because she liked the sidearms, though, and Matt Smith & Wesson SD-40 I got for her. That's the one she wanted. I bought them out there. Oh, there goes my battery, 5%, So, but anyway, lucky I got this one fired up. Hot spot. So, it's this little shorty, man. I don't know why I didn't make 2 different charger cords. Alright, anyway. Let me just run a little bit. Probably ain't gonna see it anyway. I'm gonna sit like it wants to. Hey Denise, how you doing? Well, of course, y'all know how the story goes. She didn't make it, and but we were going to start up March. So I'd already got the forage thing. We was already going to do the sales off of that, and they wanted to talk with me and her, because she was like already, this was whole tea business shit right there. And I was passing it down to her, and she was going to pass it down to her daughter, just like I promised my spirit mother. All my plans was working out. I never make another plan since December 19th when I found out. The next day, by the fucking sheriff. But, I never made another plan after that. I don't make plans no more. Me and Pat's gonna start doing a radio show with a little video thing, and she called and asked me, she said, Bill, I'm gonna do this, and I wanna know if you'd be a guest, but I just wanna know if you'd be the co-host with me. And I said, well, look, I'll be a guest every show, but, let your audience fill you out, and see if you need a co-host, and them first 2 times I was supposed to talk with you on videos, Pat, I was in the woods. They fucking, we didn't have no signal and shit, man. One of them you had to cancel and all this stuff. Here'd be a button, but no, here he ain't. He's in the fucking woods. He should be down there with some signaling. But anyway, and the whole time, man, I was just like, I didn't want to let her down because I don't like to set a time. Otherwise, I'd do it on here. When I set a time, 8 o'clock, Denise, you can do that 11 perfectly. And I always gotta, I can't just start, and it just comes out when it comes out. Sometimes at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes at fucking right now. And man, and the reason why I'm saying most of this is because, I write myself notes, and I started after I burned all that stuff, what all that stuff I was gonna give her, and that was the dumbest thing I ever done in my life. And even though it's all up here, it's like it still ain't on something, or most of it's still not back on hard copy. And that was a bunch of fucking work for that kind of crap, and so to speak. And it was done with so much passion to, like this, man, you never, I work real well with Karen. Karen get on something and we knock it out. I mean, there's some people you just work well with. It don't matter if they're your family or woman or man or whatever, you just work together well. And but Jessica, man, she received everything that I taught her so well, and she knew that it meant something. She knew what it meant, that it was something for the future, and I was real clear with that with my boys too. Just I don't know, man. Some of us don't want to realize that there's actually an abyss to fucking gaze in, and it's the shit that you can do when you're fucked up, when you're healing, when you're broken. When you're angry, when you're fucking sad and it comes out, it's fucking just pure hate, anger. You could fuck some people up, man. You could put yourself in fucking prison or worse, not get caught and just live with that shit. I think that'd be worse. I mean, if somebody's really done something wrong, they want to, you know, and it's, I mean, like, it's just dead wrong, and they are responsible. And if people held themselves accountable for what they say and what they do, I don't know. It'd be a lot better fucking world. It'd probably be a lot less killing and anyway, it don't matter. It ain't that way. And that's what we got to get back. And, you know, if you look at the way things are going, and I'm just going to say it like it is, because there's one thing I learned, and that is through all this, since just coming here, from the fucking day one, I woke up, the first morning I wake up here, my aunt dies from a cracked rib in the hospital. They still don't know how she died. It wasn't from the cracked rib. She went in there for a cracked rib. A cracked rib. And she didn't, my uncle stepped outside for, he said, 15, 20 minutes. While they, you know, worked her over and gave her, you know, got her out of her pain and all that kind of stuff. About to send her home. You know, and me and Urban, and I didn't care for that. And my mom, who died, my friend, but wow, for 3 days, out of 55 years, which I'm grateful for that. I ain't gonna say nothing bad about that. That was hard for her to do, and because some people do fucked up shit, y'all, to their kids. And see, I understand that, so that's why I don't let none of that shit go. That's why there'd never be anybody that even would feel weird around me. I would fucking leave, but I've never had to. In Australia, they only trust you if their dogs and their kids fucking trust you, and that's little kids. And if they do, man, they'll let you in. They'll give you the shirt off their back. They'll fucking feed you. They'll let you pet their kangaroo, man. I'm on serious, no. And I do. And if you just strange around fucking dogs and shit, then don't do mushrooms. Don't do trip mushrooms, because I also noticed in my almost 62 years now, psilocybin mushrooms, if devious people take them, they have bad trips. Not just one. And because that mind thing gets going. Their mind thing. You see? I don't gotta brainwash nobody. I don't gotta bullshit you. The fucking truth about life, and the fact that it's yours and you know you're not doing what you want with it. Or maybe you are, but I'm just saying, for the most part, I'm just a brother that's going to fucking say it. And that has been saying weird shit since I was fucking can remember, and nobody cared for it. Nobody. I didn't know, I just said shit. If I didn't get switched for it or whatever, I'd say it again. And it ain't like psychic shit or nothing like that. It ain't nothing special. It's from abuse. It's from not being able to grow up with the fucking school system, kids. You know? And if it wasn't, you know, just being kept down, like being the only boy in a family of 5 women, that's the part I don't want to come back and do again, you know? For sure. The rest of it, I loved it. I loved the fuck out of it, but that part, I don't think so, man. But it was also five very strong women, very intelligent women, and very abused women that didn't talk about their shit. And when they did, it was ugly. I've seen shit said and done, man. Wow. Just fucking wow. And that was them, man. You know, and they took it out on me till I was 12 years old, and y'all may not care for this, but between 12 and 13, I got my 2 big sisters off me. They never laid hands on me again, because I busted them up with my biggest sister with a 2x4. As soon as she came out, I was just smiling, because I'm like, hey, I was empowered a long time ago by my daddy, so fuck you. And boom, it just popped her in the head. She laid back. And my other sister, Kathy, they're only like 11 months apart. And she come running at me, and they're 5 and 6 years older than me, or 5 and 4 years older than me. She come after me and got the same thing. I said, don't ever put your hands on me again. And I won't ever, hit you again. Now, y'all can do what you want. I'm probably going to get kicked out of the house or whatever. 12 years old. I just left that summer, actually. And just, I stayed out in it don't matter. I stayed out in the country anyway during the summer anyway. And I had got most of my homeschooling by my granny. And, man, I only did like 10 years till high school, but I got my GED and graduated from Paul Anderson School down in Vidalia. So, so I got those 2. And I still was only like 1.5 credits shy of getting my damn diploma. That shit don't matter, see. A boy cannot sit in the classroom unless he comes up in those social circles. And the young ladies really, it ain't really that much interesting to them. It's just that they're taught early on. They're still giving y'all ladies are still giving the Donna Reed thing. All this damn second to the man, behind every man, like I was just saying earlier. Behind every team. You just pull off side road every once in a while with a picnic blanket, and you'll figure it out. You'll fucking figure it out. And then you remember that shit when you can't do it anymore. The rocking chairs and watching my kids grow up was all I fucking wanted, man. But you know what? You can't unsee it once you've seen it, can you, Denise? So when you see it, whether you're in a delusional fear, a toddler in fear state, or whether you're an elder and everybody looks up to you or trusts you, what you say, and appreciates your life experience and that you're even still fucking alive. And all the shit in between. You can't unsee it. I can't sit there and say that I am not afraid of people, but I am not an actor either. I've learned not to act and just be me. And you're either gonna like me and love me, or just love me, or you might just not like me or love me. That's on you, because my version of that, it means a whole different thing. I say I love you because I love you. Because if you really want to know the truth, because I got to. That is natural law. I want life for you, and you want life for me. Now, if you was a gazelle, or if I was a gazelle and you was the mama lioness, because the male lion don't do nothing but sit around and wait to be fed and fuck, and fight for it. But I probably wouldn't have be. I love the fact that DMT takes over my brain. And you ever notice how the gazelle it still be alive, but the lioness is eating on it? Here come the cubs, man. They're going to start pulling off something here and there, probably starting the guts. That thing's done went out, and your brain does that too. That's what the pineal gland's for. And all the critters got them. All the mammals got them for sure. If you grew up thinking you was different, and then you had a young'un and that young'un was different, the same different, except she's just a little tomboy. She could have been molded into anything. Jessica loved, and she just went to love. One love she couldn't get, and that's their business, and I guess they take that to their graves. But that was the one she tried to pursue. That's what kept her in that area. But yeah, that part was over. That part was over. And she wasn't going to have to worry about money anyway. She had her house and a car. I mean, she didn't really need anything. And she wanted to do that, and she wanted to give Lindley Day something that was substance that she could care that would be valuable without there ever being a monetary system. And it's not that it's valuable. It's a calling, and I'm like the bastard adopted son into all this shit. I'm the unbeknownst fucking alchemist. I never planned on. I don't even remember what I wanted to do when I was a kid. I just wanted to be a fucking boy, man. I just like, goddamn, to work. Is it like school? I just go rake the yard from my granny. Everything was at my granny's house. I ain't give a fuck. The hose where we drank outside and all that shit. That come from a well when you can still have them. Hey, Les, how you doing, brother? But when you make a connection with this planet, and no matter what age you are, you can do it right now. And it's not like God, and I'm not gonna put it in that kind of way. It's just your meat suit part, your subconscious, and your body, and then just your natural instincts that you can give a pill and you don't have to worry about them no more. And that part connects with the mother. And you know that in your life that there's been things that you've been kept, not just kept alive. It's like, oh, Bill just survives, he gets back. I still being the fucking boy I wanted to be. And the 31 years of machining in the Navy, fuck that fucking shit. I'll get my goddamn little $700, $900 for it that I paid in. By the way, ain't no benefit. And I don't, I'm just going to I'll have propane and I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to ask for nothing. That'll be great. But this Forge thing was actually going to be a wholesale thing too. So I'm looking at, I got 2 helpers now, and I got Biddy to work. She fucking works. She work her ass off. And Lindley Day gonna teach her good work ethic and everything, and working outside, not be scared of snakes and bees and all that kind of stuff, you know, getting itchy and what to do about it if you are. So I was just, man, you talking about some perfection. So I almost dropped all that. I hadn't done anything on forage except I get prices off of there when I want to know what Appalachian Reishi are selling for, like $2.50 a half a fucking pound, and I think about that. But see, that's why I always had to have somebody else. I don't got the luxury. Without sounding stupid, I don't give a fuck if I sound stupid, because some of you know this, and you got to find it. You got to find it what you fucking do. Okay, and real quick, and I mean this. And if you already know when you're doing it, then great. And that's what I'm trying to do, and it's you know, don't wait until your fucking retirement age, which I didn't. I said I was going to retire at 50 anyway. I should have said earlier, but whatever. I had to do the teas. I'm not in for the money, and wow. Y'all had a field of 200 yards wide, over 600 yards long. It went in a curve, matter of fact, 700 yards long, went in a curve all the way around of just solid red clover blossoms mostly. And then the other one was dandelions, which are popping now. And that one was 200 yards by 500 yards. And y'all seen them, I put the pictures up, that was no holler. Just them 2 fields alone right there, I could have made a living. You know, several hundred pounds, and I even thought about it, I was going to pick 10 things and do 500 pounds of each one of those things, because I have easy to do, 2 hours at the most in the morning, 2 hours before the sun goes down. Anything else, wait for some moonlight and you get it done. And there you go. You can't beat that life. And that was enough money to cover everybody that was in that spot, and you cannot tell the Z generation shit. And I'm sorry, I'm not picking on Sarah, but you can't tell her and Dale, they two, you know, it don't matter. The Z generation. I'm blaming it on that, by the way. I always take the blame, because if I'm heading something up or it's my idea or something and I'm trying to get it going and it don't get going, it's because I didn't do it. And that's all of it, by the way. That's not just me being, you know, whatever they call it, you know. But, I mean, I'm trying not to get sad again, but, hey, Brandon, how you doing, honey? And if I think I said, hey, bro, I hope I did. You finally getting some spring after the snow out. It's still a little cold today, but it's warming up. I'm going to some spots tomorrow to get some of the mass stuff, because I'm going to go do this, whether I did like I did last night. I'm the boss man. I write the time cards. I make the time schedule. And I'm coming with a research and development. Let's see, I find the stuff to get. I hire the best people to do camera work, as you can't tell. And, but anyway, it was going to be nice to have some help, but it was destiny. And what my promise to Gaia was Jessica. And I didn't make that like when she was a baby and hold her up in the air and say, Kuta Kente. Hell no. I mean, I just like, let me see how, I mean, I just loved her, man. I held her. She weighed 4 pounds, 15 ounces. And just perfectly healthy. And I was 7 weeks early, but I don't think I was that bony. He's an ugly little baby, man, but it was only for a couple of days after Christmas she started prettying up a little bit. But nothing wrong with her. It was the Santa suit that made her look weird, I'm sorry. But, hey, Gray, what's going on? Hey, Louise, how you doing, honey? And, if they're real, that's some good eating right there. But anyway, so I had to get that going again, or I wouldn't be alive. So I'm gonna tell you, I've been more than metaphorically dead, and I still, I carry this fucking around on me. And I don't even know why, I did something stupid. I wasn't even sad when that happened. I was just doing crazy shit. I was going into caves at night with nothing, and and I don't even go out there with the fucking coyotes and shit. And but luckily, nice to have friends in low places, so I'm gonna set back up again. So I ain't gotta worry about the coyote, but I ain't gotta kill him either. That's 357. It's a very loud barking revolver. But anyway, that's been a problem. So I'm taking care of things that I can. So one of them is, well, baby's another one. She'll run off after dinner, and I don't, hey, the bobcats around here, y'all, are massive. And then they got this other kind of feral cat, and it's, I caught one of them that raped that little, or yeah, I said rape too. Cats they don't make beautiful music together. Cats go fuck. They cats go fuck, and they fuck hard, and they goddamn got a bite to have sex, and I mean, it's weird, man. Cats and Republicans, man, I don't know. But anyway, I'm worried about them getting on her. Me and Trigger came up on that black bear, but Trigger was like, he was like Ren 1010. I don't know if they had trained him, send him to obedience training or whatever. Trigger would go right to the leash just like she's doing now. They knew they was in trouble. He just go right to it. I mean, he would rather ask forgiveness and permission, but he was always by my side till I was doing something, and then he went and did the joy running, and that's what I'm trying to get her to do. But she's part wolf and black shepherd and a female, so I can be right or I can be happy. That's the only things you can be with a female, That's like the mother. I decided to be happy with the mother, I gotta be right, she does need to kill all of us. But at least we're getting a chance, by the way. And that ain't because of me, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people have put that energy to the life flow on this planet, which is very, very important, y'all. If I can go the last 1,186 days, I have not had a sunrise. And every day's been fucking hump day. It's the same fucking day every day. It's worse than Groundhog Day because it's reality. And I tried to write about it, and I would have people say, Bill, please don't. I can't see that kind of writing no more. And I'm like, wow, then don't fucking read it. But I got to release stuff, so I just either do it on Only Me or I'll write it down. Now, I write shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't. It's not that I care for the way I write. I just let things go. That shit can. I mean, I could sit there and write a small little explainable epiphany or story in like 5 or 10 minutes, and then go back and spend another 5 minutes, getting rid of the mistakes and all because I hate a phone. But that shit Stephen King would read. He'd be like, God damn, dude, you're fucked up. Get out of here, man. I can't even, I don't want to even hear that shit. Albert Hitchcock be rolling over in his grave. By the way, y'all know that Dick Van Dyke is still alive? Dick Van Dyke is still alive. How the fuck is he still alive? And he looks like a leprechaun. Like a real, like them weird leprechauns, like the real leprechaun, They had to catch one, man. That's the only way you kept it from killing you. That's fucking wicked, man. Not like the movie Leprechaun, but just like the story, like the legend of or the, whatever you want to call it. Anything to keep the kids out of the woods, man. But, that's how you had to catch one to get, make them grant you some wishes. And he'd backslide on there. He's worse than the devil. Leprechaun's like a devil in a green suit. No, all out there having happy St. Patrick's Day yesterday. You ain't even Catholic. But anyway, I bet you didn't celebrate Ramadan and you're not Muslim. But anyway, I just want y'all to know that the things that y'all do, any of us, that we do, and it's not of ourselves. Maybe it is an attempt at healing. Maybe it's a cry out for help, man. Just saying, man, this is fucked up, ain't it? And yeah, we're on here. I can't hug none of y'all. Hey, Shecky, I love to hug every single one of you. And sit around the fire. Let's get to know each other for 100 years, man. But I made plans. Don't make no plans. It's not because they're going to fail or anything. It's just if they do, it's normally they crash miserably and everything turns out fucked up. I don't give a fuck if it's a vacation and you just come back with, white zinc on your nose and fucking sunburn and sounded more Yankee than you did before you left a while, But anyway, because you went down there to see Leonard Skinner, right? Anyway, and people get mad about that shit, man. You can't pick on the tribute bands in Ohio because they rock, man. And by the way, I dig up some more sassafras root. I'm really going to pay a lot of attention. I got to, y'all, with the teas I just make from the stuff that I got, because I get stuff to store Not just to sell bulk, but and not just to make teas either. And then I got my own stuff. I have completely neglected mine, and for some, I think I got some parasites. I think most of this belly's parasites, and I'm not trying to get away from saying I didn't eat Yum Yums all fucking winter and sit here on my fucking ass. Okay, I'm not gonna say that because I did, but not like this belly ain't going away. And that's one of the symptoms of joint pain, but that could be a little bit of dehydration because I ain't been drinking a lot of water. In other words, if you ain't got somebody around like Cheer, you ain't gonna believe that, but it don't matter. I'll just say it anyway. Cheer, make sure you ate or had something to drink, and I don't care if you just came over. I don't know how you do it, man. But he just had ways of doing shit like that. Shaky, the things worse than the bobcats or them, that other feral cat, they traced them back to a French man that lived in this county. And he had these two big cats, but they're not, I don't think they're the Maine Coon cats. They're bigger than that, and they come from France, whatever they are. And they got mixed up somehow. But this one looked like a gray tabby, but his head was like that big around. And we had him in a coyote trap, and it busted through a coyote trap with that big fat cat head, man. Big old, it was the one that got mine, but he got away. I just can't do it, y'all. I could have shot him, but I couldn't have, because it's just an evil fucking cat, man. I mean, he really wasn't no good for nothing. But I couldn't stomp his head, man, so that's something that's got away. And everybody was running off to the side. Jimmy and John was right there, my two favorite hillbillies. But they was running away from the motherfucker because it was humongous and it was pissed off. And it busted through a coyote cage, which is like 4 foot long, like a live trap coyote. You won't hurt him or anything. And I mean, just hitting it. Boom! Man, he just was relentless. So, sorry, I ain't trying to break everything up, but I'm actually just trying to explain them. He said something about the bobcats, I'm telling you. And why do you think they call it the Kentucky Wildcat? But it looks kind of like a bobcat, don't it? But they don't got lynx ears or bobcat ears. They just look like a big gray tabby. But mean, the muscle, and all muscle. That son of a bitch must have been about 45, 50 pounds, and I am not joking. I am not joking. Jimmy would told you the same thing. He was saying it was about 50, 60 pounds, what he saw. Big ass fucking cat. I don't want her running around. I didn't, after I said that, Ed, I kind of thought for a minute, I was like, God damn, that's when they fucking hit the girls' school, like. And then blame everybody else for targeting civilians when they're sitting there saying, hey, civilians, get the fuck out. Because you ain't seen nothing yet. We were just draining you dry. No more Patriots, no more ammo for the, and when they do that, and when it shoots the thing. How we don't live in that area where every drone that flies by freaks you out because it's armed and it's got a barrage of something, a missile that sometimes they don't go off. Some ones in Tel Aviv that would just went over and just crashed on somebody else's house. And people got them like hidden in their house and stuff. It's like, oh, be a patriot, man. Let me hide a missile defense system. Okay, that's just 2%. A missile defense system and a goddamn, let me just hide that in my yard, for the government, because I'm a patriot. But anyway, let's see. There we go. Getting some. If it goes out, man, I was just trying to tell everybody. I wish I could write down and tell you how to put some of that down, because I ain't put nothing down. And I ain't got used to carrying it. I do got the time, and I feel guilty about that sometimes. To not be on here, you don't see everything. My voice ain't just, and everybody can tell you, go back and look at those videos. I used to didn't have that raspy in my voice. That's going in hollers and screaming at the very creator herself. Man, how the fuck can you do that to somebody that's done, and I didn't even said it like that, that's done what I've done for you? And what's in my heart and in my actions, what the fuck can you do? And bitch, you know what? It wasn't the creator's fault. It was her fault. She wanted a Valium and she thought it was a Valium. The motherfucker gave her something. He's going to have to deal with that one day. He's in prison for 10 years, though, I think. I think he broke some federal things. The other boy's in there for 5. That's what I call reprieve. I'll leave all that alone right there. And I did, and like I said, I don't blame them completely, but just a scam and then breaking forward with ribs instead of calling a motherfucking ambulance. They can't save their life. And then having Narcan at the fucking house because she took care of people and she didn't do that stuff. The amounts in her bloodstream, if I could remember the parts per blood, yeah, she was a small girl, but she was 130 pounds. by the way. 5'1", but nothing. 130-pound fucking softball player. And wow. So anyway, and a mom. And but the amount in there wouldn't have been enough to take your average opiate addict out or whatever. That shit they call fentanyl is not fentanyl. Unless you're getting the patches, you're not getting fentanyl. They make that shit anywhere. They make that shit out of shoe cleaner or something. Some bullshit. It's like they make the meth out of fucking ephedrine and fucking salt or something, man. It's like fucked up shit. Oh, you want to burn your shit up. Anyway, it wasn't her cup of tea, man. She just, guy had gotten back home and was having a bad headache. A guy offered her something. He thought he'd get a few extra hours out of the car for it. Not because he said, here, this is extra stuff. Maybe you might want to take half of it because he's going to knock her out for that shit. And so, there you go. But her death was ruled accidental. That was the only thing on the autopsy report I wasn't satisfied with. The way that the lady wrote it, I still have not been able to get her because they're GBI and they give their name right there, but try to get in touch with a GBI autopsy. They'll think you're after them or something. People up there in Atlanta's fucking paranoid, man. But, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, so I get that. And because her family her mom's side did have money, and they did get the full Monty. It took 997 days to read that, and 9 grams of mushrooms, like I said earlier. But I actually appreciated the way that the woman separated the spirit and the body. And when she spoke of Jessica, said Jessica's name. And, wow. I mean, to say that I appreciate the way she wrote it, it was very eloquent. It was very respectful. It was very unexpected by me. I expected to just be crying and everything. I'm in a fucking cave with all my flashlights gone. My headlight out. I'm going around with a fucking lighter and acting like I'm at a Kiss concert or something, And fucking arguing with raccoons in the back of some cave. Because when you're dead, you don't worry about dying, see? So you just go do what you wanted to do all along, which for me, be a stinky barefoot fucking boy. I don't see a fucking goddamn thing wrong with that. And still be a man, but I'm going to do what the fuck I want when I want. And it happens to be good things. It's just the environment has become a place of fear for people. So I kind of actually, I'm around all these hillbillies, man. Even Jimmy and John, they get in their truck and they go up in the hills. But they wouldn't get out the fucking truck. So I'm like, well, y'all call yourself hillbillies. I said, if you don't go in the hills, then you're just billies. So I just call them billies now. Yeah, it's a fucking billy. But, I ain't joking about that. I mean, you don't go in the hills, you ain't a hillbilly, If you don't go in the swamp, you ain't a swamp rat. If you don't go swim in the river, you ain't a river rat. Blah, blah, blah. But I wish I could tell you. All I can say is, it gets to a point where you can breathe again most of the day. And it's not every day, it's not a hump day. And when you surround yourself or allow people in your life, and I have pushed people out that, and it wasn't because they were negative or they didn't agree with me. That's what everybody loves to say. Oh, Bill just blocked me. According to who was that old girl? They had the husky dog meal up there trying to tell me to get a job. God damn. Yeah, I would like to go get a job. I would have some money then. But I work harder than you motherfuckers, and I don't want to hear it, I don't have to puppy mill dogs and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, it's always, when Bill don't like you no more, you disagree with him, he attacks you. If you really think that, man, just PM me, and I'll tell you you're fucking stupid. But you don't want to talk like real, then like R-E-A-L, R-E-A-L real, not R-E-E-L real. I ain't in the real world on Facebook. But I sure met a bunch of beautiful souls out here, man. Y'all have helped other parents. And Pat will be one of them to tell you. She lost her boy to the fucking Rona bullshit on the ventilator, y'all. And had the goddamn stuck in the tea right there. I can't imagine. And that happened before Jessica, and I was like, I can't imagine this. And now, you get in that same club. And I can see why, like Tina Marie Presley did, I don't agree with that. And I'm like dumb enough, like I said, just a spur of the moment, like no depression or nothing, just wow, just gonna see. It's like, I don't know if I was testing death, or just don't see how much I gave a fuck anymore. Or if anything really out there gave a fuck. Well, I mean, whether that was a brand new box of ammo and the one motherfucking bad primer, I don't believe in that shit. I've been shooting them pretty much all my life. I ain't never had a box of ammo Unless I bought it. Well, you can't buy ammo from Temu, and they didn't have Temu back then. But if you bought a box of ammo from Temu, I just know that the more that you're being what you want to be, and your plans fall through the fucking floor, you're still what you wanted to be. You get it? I wasn't not living vicariously through Jessica. I had a planned mission. The biggest commitments I've ever made in my life. To things that people don't even believe in. But that was for me to do. If that part of the plan didn't work out, is it over? Fucking hell no. It ain't over, ever. When this life's over, you learn a lesson. Until then, carry on. You be what you gotta be when you gotta be it. You gotta cry, you gotta laugh, you gotta make some fun of something, you gotta get mad. Go fucking do it. And you do it as much as you fucking can till you can't no more. And then you get over it. And you wait for the next time. Or you don't wait for it, it's gonna come. You don't gotta wait for it. Sadness comes every day. Comes when it wants to. Cause I ain't set no boundaries or no guidelines, and I won't. And every fucking day that motherfucker makes a hump day, every day that I catch its gaze and I look at it too long, I'm gonna carry that. I wanna carry that all the way across the river. I'm gonna lay it down at her little feet. I'll say, that's how much I love you, baby. That's what we do when they're gone. But I still gotta do what I came in this world to do. And you still gotta do what you came in this world to do. And if there's something that's keeping you from doing that, I highly suggest that you maybe get some mushrooms. Not for me, I'm just trying to say, there's gifts out there. The only toxin that cleans the toxins out of your mind. You don't gotta go eat 9 grams of them. And raccoons don't talk back. They really want to bite you, but they don't want to fuck with you because they know you're fucked up. And every fucking tree's got mushrooms around it when you're tripping, so maybe not go to the woods. But go inside yourself. That crazy place that made you crazy, you gotta go back there and face it. You're not going to be whole again. You'll never be whole again. Sorry, but not sorry. Because every time that heart breaks, you just rearrange it into a new mosaic. Know what you want to be, because you're a fucking work of art. Like Marilyn Manson said, a fucking work of art. Sometimes you got to be the artist, though. And sometimes you got to get away. 1,186 days. 28,464 fucking hours. I love them numbers. I love y'all. Live free. Die living.